At least 30 people have been killed and 100 injured when a train derailed in southern Pakistan, a police spokesman has confirmed. Several carriages of the Hazara Express overturned near Sahara railway station in Nawabshah, about 275 kilometers, 171 miles, from the largest city Karachi. Wounded passengers were moved to nearby hospitals. Rescue teams are trying to free people from the twisted wreckage. Accidents on Pakistan's antiquated railway system are not uncommon. Railway Minister Saad Rafiq said initial investigations showed the train was traveling at normal speed and they were trying to establish what led to the derailment.
Sindh Information Minister Sharjeel Memon told BBC News that the government's top priority was the rescue work, which we are totally focused on. In 2021, two trains traveling in Sindh province collided, killing at least 40 people and injuring dozens. Between 2013 and 2019, 150 people died in such incidents, according to local media reports.
Chandrayaan-3, India's latest moon mission, has entered the lunar orbit, the country's space agency has said. The spacecraft with an orbiter, lander, and a rover lifted off on July 14. It will try to set the lander and rover on the lunar surface on 23 or August 24. If successful, India will be the first country to land near the moon's little explored south pole. It will be only the fourth to achieve a soft landing on the moon, after the US, the former Soviet Union and China. After the spacecraft orbited the Earth for more than a week, it was sent into the translunar orbit on Tuesday through a slingshot maneuver. The third in India's programmer of lunar exploration, Chandrayaan-3 is expected to build on the success of its earlier moon missions.
It comes 13 years after the country's first moon mission in 2008, which discovered the presence of water molecules on the parched lunar surface and established that the moon has an atmosphere during daytime. Chandrayaan-2, which also comprised an orbiter, a lander, and a rover, was launched in July 2019, but it was only partially successful. Its orbiter continues to circle and study the moon even today, but the lander rover failed to make a soft landing and crashed during touchdown.
Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, Chief Sridhar Panikkar Somanath has said they have carefully studied the data from its crash and carried out simulation exercises to fix the glitches in Chandrayaan-3, which weighs 3,900 kilograms and costs 6.1 billion rupees, $75 million, 58 million pounds. The lander, called Vikram, after the founder of ISRO, weighs about 1,500 kilograms and carries within its belly the 26 kilograms rover, which is named Pragyan, the Sanskrit word for wisdom. On Tuesday, ISRO tweeted that the spacecraft had completed its orbits around the Earth and was headed towards the Moon.
Now that the craft has entered the Moon's orbit, scientists will begin reducing the rocket's speed gradually to bring it to a point which will allow a soft landing for Vikram. Once it lands, the six-wheeled rover will eject and roam around the rocks and craters on Moon's surface, gathering crucial data and images to be sent back to Earth for analysis. The rover is carrying 5 instruments which will focus on finding out about the physical characteristics of the surface of the Moon, the atmosphere close to the surface and the tectonic activity to study what goes on below the surface. "I'm hoping we'll find something new," Mr. Somanath has said.
The south pole of the moon is still largely unexplored. The surface area that remains in shadow there is much larger than that of the moon's north pole, and scientists say it means there is a possibility of water in areas that are permanently shadowed. India is not the only country with an eye on the moon, there's a growing global interest in it. And scientists say there is still much to understand about the moon that's often described as a gateway to deep space. Imran Khan has been arrested for the second time in a matter of months, but this time the reaction looks very different. What could happen next? There could not have been a starker contrast between May 9 and August 5 this year. While Imran Khan's first arrest led to protests in the streets from Peshawar to Karachi, with buildings burning and the army on the streets, Saturday night was no different from any other normal night in Pakistan. Mr. Khan is currently in prison, sentenced to 3 years for not declaring money gained by selling state gifts. The sentence will lead to his disqualification before the upcoming elections.
Ask government ministers and they will say that it is because people do not want to follow Imran Khan or his party, the PTI, unwilling to be associated with a group responsible for previous violence. That is not the message from Mr. Khan's supporters. Imran Khan's relationship with the establishment, shorthand in Pakistan for the politically powerful military and intelligence agencies, soured more than a year ago. Mr. Khan was widely seen by analysts as having come to power with the help of the establishment and to have subsequently lost it when that relationship deteriorated.
Some in Pakistan's media have told us that from late May, after TV station owners met the military, journalists were no longer allowed to say Mr. Khan's name, show his picture, or even write his name on the ticker tape. Anecdotally, many previously vocal supporters told us that they had stopped posting about the PTI or its leader on social media, deleting their posts and no longer watching his public broadcasts, afraid of who might be watching them watching him.